Hey, DFW community. Welcome to my show. This is Hey DFW with Erin J. It's been a month since I seen you guys and had a chance to talk to you. I have a very, very special guest on my show today. Let's go into it. She is the owner of IRock Resumes, Chief Career Strategist, Certified Career Transition Coach, Certified Online Profile Expert, and Certified Employment Interview Professional. Everybody, give a warm DFW welcome to Nickquolette Barrett.
Hey! Thanks for having me.
Yes. She's a busy lady, you guys. Busy lady.
Yes.
So, I got some good questions for you today. I've been talking about it all week to just get everybody pumped up and just ready to get some really good tips on their professional career. So, if you can you tell me a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your background?
All right. I'll be happy to. Hello, DFW. Thank you so much, Erin, for having me. I'm so excited to be here. And just a little bit about myself. I've been in corporate America for probably a little bit over 28 years now. Been in leadership for a little bit over 18 years as well. So corporate leadership. So I know all about how to hire, coach, performance manage, unfortunately fire, and all of that stuff above. And I've been doing it for many years. And so I'm married to a senior pastor of a church, and I have a daughter who is 19, a college student, sophomore year in college. And I have a dog, and his name is Bam Bam. I'm really the mama, so it's really my daughter's dog. But I just love that little dog to death. So I do that. Live right here in Allen, Texas. I've been in actually Dallas, Texas for a little bit over 6 years, but I'm originally from Chicago, Illinois.
All right. Shout out to Chicago. Shout out.
Yes, born and raised there. Yeah. Went to the University of Illinois.
All right.
And then relocated down to Beaumont, Texas. So my prayers go out to everyone down there in Beaumont dealing with those floods and everything. Right. My husband's a pastor down there. And so relocated there and came up here to Dallas about 6 years ago with a corporate move because I work for a major corporate, major insurance company. And so made the move there. And I started my business a little over 5 years ago.
Yes, guys. So what made you decide to go in business for yourself?
Well, it was really not me. I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit. So I've done the creative memories. I'm a big scrapbooker. Okay. I've done the Mary Kay. I love makeup, doing a little bit of makeup. I shouldn't say I love it too much, but I love doing a little bit of makeup. And I did Avon. I did those things, always thinking about, what can I do? And I will always bug my husband about all these great invention ideas. And I told him, I said, one day I am going to be an entrepreneur. I just don't know what yet. Right. And it was so funny how all of that played out. And so therefore our organization was going through a major change. And because I've always been good with writing and preparing internal resumes, doing all the interview prep, part of the responsibility of being a corporate leader, you have to do that, get your employees prepared for the next opportunity. And so I had an opportunity to do it on a massive level. So I ended up getting my whole entire team promoted. I had a team of 11. One got married and moved to Houston, but the rest of the team did. They left, got promoted, so they had to give me a new team. Wow. And so I ended up helping majority of them get new opportunities. And the two of my former team, they got $14,000 raises.
Wow.
So they came to me and said, well, Miss Nickquolette, you ought to do this as a business. I was like, a business? I said, what? Yeah, you're really good at this thing. If I didn't work here, I would pay you to do this. I said, pay me? I said, people do this for money? And I didn't have any idea. So I put a little blurb on Facebook. Social media is absolutely awesome. So I did a little blurb on Facebook, and around the country, I had different people I've managed for years start weighing in. Oh, yeah, she was my manager. She did this, she did that. And I said, oh my gosh, there's some social proof. And then I got my first request on how much do you charge in my inbox. And that's how the business was born. So I started small, and then it's grown from there.
That's good. Confirmation, y'all. Listen, confirmation.
Exactly.
That's what you need.
Yes.
Okay, so can you elaborate for everyone, what is a chief career strategist? What do they do?
Well, what I do is look at an actual person's career and what they want to do. And I'm more of not just a counselor and coach. I actually develop a strategy because I'm very action oriented. So you'll tell me your story, you'll tell me where you want to go, and I listen. I'm able to pull those gems out to figure out, okay, this will be the best strategy for you to get to X, Y, and Z. So I'm always looking about what strategy can we put in place so you can achieve your goal. So it's more, it goes beyond the actual coaching, it goes beyond the counseling. And I say counseling because when you're in the midst of looking for a job, you lost your job, it's an emotional thing. So I find myself being a counselor, and then of course I'm being the coach to make sure I'm giving them the energy to do what they need to do and the motivation. But I'm really keen about strategy. So I put the strategy in place for them to do it. So you need your documents, you need your interview prep, you need to be able to go out there and negotiate and your salary and all of those things. So it's always about the strategy to get to the end goal.
All right. Why do you think it is important to have a resume written by a professional more so than just doing it yourself or just paying, like, I call them resume meals, you guys.
Me too.
You know, where it's just kind of like, hey, we'll do a resume today for $50 or something like that. Like, it's no way you could do all my skills and basically sell me on a career document for something like that quickly. So, you know, no shade on anyone, but I will want a little bit more attention for something as far as my career goes. So, yes, back to that. So why should people consider having it written by a professional?
Because we keep up with the trends. We know exactly what's going on, and we can actually dig a little bit deeper than actually just printing out something in the format of a resume. A lot of times people think a resume is just a format.
Right.
It's not about the format, and it's not even about how pretty it looks, because even people say, oh yeah, I can design a resume for you. Well, yeah, it may catch the attention, but it's the content. And not everyone understands that you have to pull out the skills, the abilities, and all those things, and not take a job description, in which I've seen many and come through as a quote unquote resume, their job description, and they put it in the format of a resume and say that that's a resume.
Right.
And see, a lot of people will say, yeah, I can do it for you, because they have the Word, Microsoft Word document, and they can just put it in there. But it goes beyond that. So it's not just a piece of paper. When you're looking to move your career forward and you're asking someone to pay you $55,000, $65,000, $75,000, you don't want your auntie to do it unless she's a professional.
Right.
And you don't want to pay the $39.99, and you really don't want to pay the $99.99 because they're going to spit something out. And I've gotten a lot of clients coming to me say, well, I've already paid for this and it's not working. And then I end up having to work with them to fix the resume so that it actually land interviews, because that's his job.
Right. All right. That's a good, very good response to that. How long should a resume be? 1 or 2 pages?
Oh,
question of the day, y'all. If I had a bell, I'd ring it.
And it's so funny because I get that question all the time on 1 or 2 pages, and I've had senior executives squish down their information into 1 page. So I would say it all depends,
right?
And it depends on your experience. If you have experience any maybe 5-10 years, you probably are going to spill over into a second page resume. Unless you've been in one company for a long time, then it's going to be that 1 pager. So it all depends on the actual person's career. Now, if you're taking a 25-year career and you're squishing it down into 1 page, you're not telling the employer what needs to be known about you.
Right.
There's not enough content. They're not understanding what have you done for 25 years. And if it's only on 1 piece of paper, then we're in trouble.
Right.
So we have to make sure that you're telling the proper story to sell yourself. So, and I would say it all depends on the actual person, and it's not just only college, because I've had 2-page college resumes who have tons of projects and volunteers and all that kind of stuff that they've done. And then it all depends. And with the executive, that can be probably 3 pages if we're trying to tell a story for the opportunity. So it all depends.
All right, you guys. That's your answer.
Yes.
From a professional.
Yeah.
All right. What is the difference between curriculum vitae, and correct me if I mispronounced it?
Because a lot of, in foreign countries, I just talked to a lady from Barbados. She's making a transition to Italy. So she calls it, she said, well, how do you say it's resume or curriculum vitae? Because they say CV. I said, it's the same perspective in a sense. Now, if you're talking in America, what you will look at as a CV is more for a professor, educator, or maybe even a physician. Okay. So I have a physician. I think her CV, I think we got it up to like 18 pages now. Okay. And because she continues continuously get education, certifications, awards like crazy, and she speaks, and then we have to keep updating her CV.
Okay.
So it all depends on what the purpose is for it. So it can be in the format of a resume, it can be a mix of both, but it depends on the actual purpose of it.
Okay. All right. So it's a little bit more detailed.
Yes.
A document. So for those people, more back to the resume, what are some things, basic things that, to include on a resume? Like, what's important for our people to include?
Do not include the objective statement. Okay. If you still have that on your resume, please delete it. I would say that do not first. Okay, so after you get past that, then you want to go ahead and do a professional summary.
Okay.
And a summary is a high-level overview of your skills. It's almost like sort of a teaser in order for the reader to continue to reading through your resume, because we've heard of they only give you 6 seconds on a resume when they're thinking about who they're going to invite in for an interview. So you want to make sure that professional summary, the summary that's right at the top of your resume, tells a compelling story so that they will say, yes, I want to continue reading. So you want to have a professional summary. And that can be anywhere from 3 sentences to 5 sentences. And some of my directors and VPs, and executives, they probably have like 6 or 7 depending.
Okay.
And I just try to make it as concise and punchy and not a long wordy sentence.
Right.
Taking out the fluff words. Take out fluff. Eliminate all the fluff and only the facts. And then we just put that in there. Okay. And another thing I would make sure that they do in that area is put a skills area or competencies area.
Okay.
So then it's a quick snapshot, and also would be keyword rich for the ATS as well.
Yes.
To make sure, but don't overload it, because sometimes I've seen resumes, and I actually signed on a client just last week that resume wasn't working, but she had it had to be like 2 inches on her resume full of competency, skills, and everything. It was overpowering and it wasn't working. So you don't want to do that. You want to pick out the best of the best. Okay. So you ask yourself, what am I good at? And put that in there.
All right. What is ATS? For those who not sure what that is, what is ATS?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Let me decode that. Applicant Tracking System. Those are the robots and the databases that a lot of companies use. There's not just one. There's ton of them that they scan the resumes, especially for major corporations. They get tons and tons of resumes, and they can't pull each one to read. So therefore, it has to pass through the applicant tracking system with the proper terminology in order for it to even land on the desk of HR or the recruiter to say, let me talk to you. So that's what you have to make sure that you're passing. And if you're not getting any answers from your resume, that's probably why, because there's not enough wording in there that would attract the recruiter to say, yes, I want to call them in for an interview.
Makes sense. So let's talk about a recent college graduate. So what advice would you give someone who just graduated college?
Okay, if they just graduated from college, I want them to make sure, actually take stock. What did you do in college? Like, I've had college students who did a lot of volunteer work but didn't necessarily have a job. But I said, but if you're volunteering and you're leading this and you're a project person over this and you're doing that, we can show your skill set because you're a leader of this. Even projects that they have led in a classroom. They probably had a classroom project and they were the leader on it. Well, what did you do? So I will want them to make sure that they think about all the things that they've done in college, and let's see how we can turn that into a skill set for an actual employer.
Wow.
Now, if you have a part-time job, that's great too. We can talk about what did you do, because you're balancing your part-time job and school. That's huge.
Right.
That's time management. That's organizational skills.
Yes.
That's dependability, adaptability, flexibility. There's so many words I can throw out there.
Yes.
So there's so many things that can be done for that college graduate.
Okay. And my next question kind of goes right into that. About gaining experience with no experience, and are internships, still very much so important these days?
I would say yes. And if, of course, I want to give my entrepreneurs out there, don't get a college student and then try to have them do work for you for free. You need to pay them because a lot of times they think, well, they just need the experience, but they also need money.
That's true.
And I'm coming from the place of a poor, broke college student. I mean, I work 2 and 3 jobs trying to put myself through school. So we want to make sure that we're providing those experiences for them. They could actually go through a formal program through their school. And a lot of times the companies go to the schools and actually look for actual, internships, or they can seek out their own. Let me tell you what I did. When I was in college, I was a Spanish major. I originally was a computer engineering student, but I said, that engineering stuff wasn't that good for me. I didn't like that too much. So I became a Spanish major with business and economics. So what I did, I said, well, since they're not coming looking for Spanish people, let me go ahead and figure it out. I paved the downtown sidewalks and looked in the yellow pages.
Okay,
yellow.
I remember them.
Okay, yeah. Yellow pages. And I found all the different places that were in Spanish, and I went and knocked on their doors, and I ended up getting hired by El Dorado newspaper.
Oh, wow.
And I worked for them for the summer, came back, worked for them for the Christmas and everything, and they hired me, and I did some of their accounting for them, some of their bookkeeping. I kept the office clean. I was a runner. I did all kinds of stuff and helped and looked at any kind of the print, say, well, can you just review this, because I read better in Spanish than I spoke it. So I created my own internship.
That's good, you guys. That's a really good tip, because nowadays everything is so competitive.
Yeah.
I went through my program at school, and I did 2 different types of internships for my major, because I wasn't quite sure did I want to go. My major is broadcasting, but I wasn't quite sure if I wanted to do TV or radio. So I did an internship at both, just to kind of get a feel of both industries, and it helped me out a lot.
Obviously. Here we are.
Right.
Right.
So I love the fact that you can still seek out an internship, because it's very competitive. So, take that as a tip. Also, how do you know when something is in demand, like a certain skill set? I learned through my previous job about how big graphic design was, because it wasn't like that when I was in college, and then I was a broadcasting major, so I didn't see that side of it. But when I started integrating being in marketing and writing, it was like, hey, okay, I might really need to get on top of this. So and for me, I wish I knew ahead of time. And so how do people know that? Do you just still kind of continue to learn on the job, or you just
keep your ear to the grind? I'm telling you, you have to be observant, look at different articles, listen to the news, because a lot of times the news will tell you what's on the uprise. Because right now, coding, and let me tell you, a lot of corporations are automating. So if you can learn anything about automation, I would recommend you do that now. A lot of the jobs that are of yesteryear are now being automated. It used to be an outsourcing where they would source it out, but they don't have to do that anymore. They're automating those jobs. So therefore, the actual manual labor that we would do, even if it was manual, where we would type it on a computer, that is becoming automated. And so therefore, you have to up-level your skill set so you can be the ones that are behind the scenes coding, so that automation can actually happen. And there's so many different coding places that are popping up now.
Yes.
Get involved in learning how to code. So code is huge right now. Graphic design, definitely.
Yeah.
And you know what? Marketing, business writing is huge, because so many entrepreneurs like myself, we're looking for blog writers. We're looking for content write, all kinds of different things. And if you can go ahead, if you're a good writer and never thought about it because mama said I need to be an engineer, or mama said I need to be this. If you're a good writer, use that skill set and create your own little business from that. So just making sure they're listening to what's out there, and it may not be what is traditional. Go another route. Make your own way.
Yeah, that's true, you guys. And Nickquolette, you do business writing as well, right?
Yep.
Can you kind of go into a little bit what that entails, and what can you offer business?
Yeah. So what I do, in addition to helping my wonderful career professionals level up their career branding documents, I do about me pages. I do business plan writing. Now, I won't create your own business plan, but I will take your business plan and I'll make sure that it's written so that when you're presenting it to a bank or an investor, that it's in the right format and is professionally said or what have you. So I do business plans. I also do media kits and speaker one-sheeters as well. And what else do I do? Yeah, those are the things that I do.
Okay.
Yep.
So you guys,
professional bios. I'm sorry.
Professional bios. So if you guys need any of those services, she's right here. Remember, it's IRock resumes.
Yes.
.com.
Yes.
So what avenues would someone who does not have a specific skill set take to make them more marketable?
First of all, they need to do a brain dump on what they're good at. And then they need to see what types of gaps that they may have, and then have to figure out how to best fill those gaps. Sometimes it doesn't always mean that you have to go back and get a degree. You may just need to go get a certification or get a certificate, go back and take a class. And then right now, YouTube, there's so many different things that you can learn on YouTube. And a lot of times those YouTube creators offer courses that you can take. So if there's something that you're needing to learn, say for example, you want to learn how to do graphic design, you want to learn how to be even a YouTube creator, there's so many different avenues for you to learn that. And so is a skill set, time management. You can go on LinkedIn.com right now and take all kinds of different courses. So there's a lot of things that you can do that are online that won't take a lot of time, that you can do on your lunchtime, do a little bit in the evening, just to get the skills that you need in order to go to the next level.
That's true, you guys. Definitely do that. I do that all the time. When I have a question, I go on YouTube, figure it out, work on it, and then I don't move on until I get what I need to, especially now that I'm back video editing. So it's really good. And just save it. Just save the video somewhere. And that way, just keep doing it over and over again. You'll pick up a new skill set. So everyone has like a Facebook or Instagram account nowadays. But why is LinkedIn so important, and why should people invest in it?
Oh, wow. Now, LinkedIn is my baby. Okay. LinkedIn is a professional social media platform. When I say I put professional and social media, no, it's not where you can, do too much playful stuff, but it's still a social platform. But it's geared toward entrepreneurs, career professionals, corporations, and everything, because they're looking for people with like-minded skill sets and minds. So therefore, if you are into accounting, why not go out there and converse with some of your peers who are also in accounting? And that can be on the other side of the sea. You can still talk to them. And it's about networking beyond going to a networking physical group. So it's online networking, and you never know where those connections may lead. You can get on there and share your knowledge. We walk around with a lot of knowledge and we don't share it. And we don't think that we're the gurus. You don't have to be a big major guru to share your knowledge. And who knows, you may become a big guru because you are sharing your knowledge. Because having another opinion or another, look at something, perspective is what I'm trying to say, will really help. So LinkedIn does a lot more than just finding a job. And if you're not looking for a job and you're just out there and you have a really good LinkedIn profile, someone may tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, I have an opportunity for you.
That's
and
true.
You won't know if you're not on LinkedIn. And so therefore, it's for networking. It's for when you're heavily looking for an opportunity, and it's for when you're passively looking for an opportunity, because you never know when something will come up. So I highly recommend everybody get on there, but do not invest in the premium until you maximize the free. I tell my clients this all the time. Once we get their LinkedIn branding done, I coach them to use it first, maximize it, then invest, and then you'll get all the other tools as well.
Okay. So you got, she does LinkedIn as well. And can you just give us a small synopsis of, if a client comes to you and say, hey, you know what? I would like, a resume, a LinkedIn profile, or some type of a package per se. Can you just a client A?
Yes. Okay. Well, I offer job landing packages, and what I call them job landing packages because it goes beyond just a resume. So I have the iLaunch package, and that comes with your resume, cover letter, thank you letter, reference list, and as well as e-notes. And that just launches you out to look for a job. And then I have other packages that add in the LinkedIn.
Okay.
And then I have another package that adds in the interview prep, and then that adds in also the job search coaching. And then I have my top package, which is like a 45-day program, and it's called iElevate, and that takes care of all of the marketing and branding documents, that takes care of the high-level interview prep, that takes care of the salary negotiation. I love that part. I love how to tell y'all how to get some more money.
Yes, we all can use that. I get scared still.
I know how to work it. I tell y'all what to do.
Nervous.
Yes, I do the job search coaching and the salary negotiation, and also the LinkedIn branding and the LinkedIn coaching as well. So it's not just the marketing and branding, but I coach you on how to make sure that your profile stands out.
All right.
And that's my best package.
So let's go into interviews. So how does someone just prepare for an interview? Like, what kind of tips can you give someone for preparing for an interview?
Yeah, first of all, tell people to stop winging it, because you're going in and you want to present your best self. You don't want to wing it and we can see right through it. I have interviewed people for years, and I can see right through someone who is actually prepared, done their homework, or just coming in winging it.
Yeah.
So you don't want to do that. So you definitely want to make sure that you're practicing what you're going to say. I want you to make sure you have a great opening. So what is an actual opening? An opening is a high-level introduction, almost like your professional summary on your resume, but you're doing it verbally, telling them a little bit about who you are. So therefore, they're getting to see your personality. You're also putting in there your skills, your high-level skill set, and really showing them that I will be a good fit for this organization. And then you want to make sure you, after you do all your actual questions, make sure you have a strategy for that. So I teach my clients my IRock STAR strategy. And that's a different strategy. It's like the STAR method. Everybody knows the STAR method or the SAR method. And that's telling your story or your situation when you're asked a question. Talk about the task. Talk about the actions that you've taken and also the results. People forget about the results. You never want to have a follow-up question like, and what happened? You don't want that. So you be able to tell your story on how you resolved something, how you implemented something, how you spearheaded something. Tell me, what did you do? So I can visualize you in the role that I'm going to put you in. So that's what I want you to do. Use that method and then have a closing. And with your closing, you want to tie a pretty bow on everything that you've talked about. So all you want to put and look at the high level, think about the things that they've asked you, and then say, I want to reiterate. These are the things that I'm very good at. Your top 3 competencies, maybe. Just talk about that. And then you ask for the job without asking for the job. And say, I will really love the opportunity to work with you and your team, and I would love to work for this organization. I look forward to hearing from you soon.
Okay.
Bam.
You guys, she's dropping real jewels today. This is free information, y'all. Just want to let y'all know that. So how does one get over being nervous about when they have an interview? Because I know my palms would get sweaty and I would think of the worst stuff. I remember one interview I had. My heel broke before the interview. I had to go by DFW, get some shoes.
Oh my God.
And then go. And I was so mad because I called there and I asked, hey, can you, I told her I wear a 7.5. I need a black, stiletto heel, not too high, not like 6 inches, and very stylish. And I believe there was a significant age difference, you guys, because I got some small, like, neutralizer pumps. I was not happy about it. Oh, wow. But I bought them anyway because I needed them right. And when I sent my friend a picture, I was like, look what they picked out for me. And she's like, those are I'm serious interview shoes. So we always joke about my neutralizers, but they were comfortable. So I kept them for like 6 months. Right. So so how does someone prepare about that and just getting over those jitters?
Prepare. The people who I find the most nervous are the ones who come in winging it.
Okay.
They really don't know themselves. They don't know their skill sets. They don't know what they bring to the table. They haven't investigated the company. They don't know anything about the company. They haven't even went to the website to read about it. They just, I need a job.
Right.
That's all they come in. And you can see the desperation on their face. And it's like, do you really want this job for your purpose, or do you really want to help us move the needle on what we're trying to do?
Right.
So preparation is going to be key. So if you're preparing yourself for the interview, you shouldn't be as nervous. You're going to be somewhat nervous, but you'll be better prepared.
Right.
And I always say one of the things with the opening, I'll go back to the opening, when they're asking you, tell me a little bit about yourself, always put at the end of that opening statement something fun. Like I tell them, tell my clients, make sure you say something like, I love the Cowboys, but I can't wait for them to start, or something like that.
Right.
I make a mean pie. Something fun so that they know that you are a person, and then you will identify soccer, football, any kind of sport, of course. And then for me, when I would interview, I would always talk about scrapbooking. And people, even men, would get intrigued with that scrapbook.
Yeah.
Say, oh, really? My wife does this, or so-and-so, I know this.
I knew that.
Oh, it's not there? Oh, it's okay. Sorry. And so all of those things happen. And then when they're doing that, it takes those nerves out, because then you're engaging them.
Right.
And then it becomes, the whole room becomes really relaxed. And then
That's
you can
true.
go forward. Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. So what is something, I did that. What is something to always remember when you're going on an interview? Like, like, what is that one thing you can say, you know what, you're about to go, This is a great job. It's a great company. What is that one thing? We kind of already touched on, researching the company and being prepared. But is there anything, just one particular thing that this is what I need to focus on? Like, if I don't do anything else.
Your top 3 skills.
Okay.
And they must be in alignment with the job posting, with the job description. So look at that job description, see what the high level skills that they're asking for. Of course, making sure that you align with them. Pick out the top 3 because you want to make sure that they know you have those skills.
Right. Okay, you guys.
Yep.
So, the interview is over now. We're done with the interview. So let's talk about thank you notes. Do you recommend sending them and why?
Oh, yes, I do. You have to say thank you, and you want to make sure that you're sending it. So it's okay to take a little notepad or your portfolio and write down the people's names.
Right.
And also you should have the names beforehand as well. And if you can't, prepare them before the interview. And that way, after the interview, you can go right to the mailbox and drop them right in there.
All right,
you know,
guys.
so do that. I say yes to thank you notes.
Okay. So let's talk about the career path itself. So when someone gets their first job, how important is it to basically write a career plan for yourself? I'm out of school.
Yes.
This is it. This is my first job. How do you visualize that? I know when I got out of school, I only thought one thing, and that was Oprah. I didn't think anything else. I'm going to be like Oprah. I'm going to be like Oprah one day. But I had absolutely no plan to get there. I just figured, I'll get a job and it'll happen.
Right. And see, that's what the strategist comes out in me, because it's all about, okay, now that you're here, first of all, I want you to learn your job. So get good at the actual role that you were hired to do, because you can't get to the next role in a hurry when you haven't even gotten the hang of it. I'm not saying that you have to master it. You need to be proficient in it. And if you excel in it, even better, because then you'll get the eyes and the ears of your management around you to start saying, okay, this person has potential.
Right.
So learn your job first. So don't come in and say, tomorrow I'm going to be the vice president of the company. No, but you want to go in and say, I'm going to do the best job and understand the role, because I've had employees come in and get the role. We go over the performance expectation. They put them to the side and they forget all about them. Yeah. I said, well, we've talked about that and that and that, and this is part of it. I didn't want people just coming in, sitting down and collecting the paycheck and go home.
Right.
Career-minded people are really strategic in what they're going to do with the rest of their career. And so only the strategic people actually win the whole race. So you want to make sure you're doing that. So think about, how do I make the best of the role that I'm hired for, show them that I'm capable of doing more by doing my best job, and then start mapping out a strategy and talk with your boss.
Okay.
Let them know, let them in on your plan. You need cheerleaders. You need people who are going to push you and start putting your name out there. Because when we're at the table, when I'm with all my peers in the leadership meeting, we talk about employees. So say, that person be good for this project, that person be good for that project. So your name needs to be top of mind and on their lips. So make sure that you're doing the best job that you can while you're there.
All right, you guys. So how does career coaching help with making a plan? And what age does someone, invest in career services? Is it coaching services? Is it entry level, mid level, executive? I'm pretty sure you can do all, but as far as just in your role, what's the appropriate age to say, okay, I need to go in, I need to do this, or or they could start from the ground up. But
and that's what it is, and it'll be a good investment if they are really serious about, okay, I have an end goal to one day be in this role. So, and that could be an entry level. They can walk in because they maybe have role models that they've seen in those roles and they want to get there, so they can invest early. And with me, there's a different price point for entry level, for early career, and all of the to the executives. So it's a different price point. So people think, oh, career coaching is so expensive, but it actually helps you think of things that you haven't thought of. And then for some reason, I have this innate ability to see beyond what you're saying. And when I'm able to see beyond what you're saying, I can hear your words and I'm able to say, I think this would be best for you and to do X, Y, and Z. And then we create a plan for that. So it could be at any age. Most of the clients that I attract are in the management and up through executive is what I attract most.
Okay. So now you know we have been on a job for a few years. It's been a few years, and you kind of not sure. You just like, okay, I've been doing this. I'm good at it. I like it, but it's kind of routine. So you know, I'm a robot now. How do you get unstuck in your career?
Oh, self-reflection. What do you really want to do? You have to ask yourself, and sometimes it's not always apparent as me getting even into this business. You know, yes, I'm a great leader, and I had my trajectory to go further in the organization, continue to climb the corporate ladder. Had it not for someone else to say, no, you're very good at this, you need to be doing that. So sometimes it's very difficult to see because you're in it and it's you. So career coaching will help bring that out and help you to figure out what do you need to do to make the best. And sometimes it could be switching industries. It could be just saying, you know, taking a whole shift. You did it just because you got the degree.
Right.
And then it was a job to pay the student loans back.
Yeah. Amen.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Right. And then you come a couple of years and like, okay, now is this all there is?
Yeah.
And that's when a lot of times after a new graduate gets their, start their career and they get to that place after a couple of years and they're figuring out what's next. So, career coaching can really help them figure that out and set them on a path and a plan to say, okay, this is what you're going to do. And also check up and hold you accountable too. So what are you doing? How are you doing this? Report back out to me. Because my clients, I make them sign documents. I said, you read this and this is their expectations. Sign it that you understand and agree. And I want you to report back when we have our next session. So hold them accountable. And then they get scared.
Yeah, like, oh my God, I got to get this ready.
But
she told me to read this.
Right. But they're always excited on the other end because they see the results. So that's what it's all about.
Right. And bringing the best out of everyone.
Yes.
I see that you offer a 90-day plan. Can you give more information about what that entails?
Is you talking about the 90-day... the 90-day development plan.
Yes.
Oh, that's part of my Elevate package.
Okay.
And so the 90-day plan is when we sit down for getting unstuck. Say, for example, you are stuck and you want to figure out, okay, what do I need to do? I feel 90 days is a great way to move one, maybe two goals. So we set up an actual goal to say, okay, what are you going to do for the next 90 days to get you to your next plan? And it can work both ways to get you unstuck, to get you to your next level. Or I also use a 90-day plan for my interviewers. So if I'm doing the interview prep and before they go into that second interview, we create a 90-day plan and say, this is what I plan to do when I walk in the door to make sure that I am showing you that you made a great hire and I'm going to affect change. And people have gotten hired on the 90-day plans.
Wow. Look at that, you guys. Okay, so let's discuss career transitions. So you kind of touched on that. So sometimes people, they go to school for one thing and later decide to do something else. So what is there any kind of special preparation that someone would do to make that shift?
Basically, look at the education that you already have gotten, and especially if you've already been on the job, and look at the skills that will be transferable. Okay. So start with what do I have first, because you don't want to say, well, what I don't have, because when you start off negative that way, you won't move. So I want you to take a stock of what you're actually good at, the skills that can transition into that new career, and then look for those gaps and say, well, how can I fill those gaps? And look for different opportunities. Maybe it is a course that you need to take. Maybe it's even just watching something, a webinar, or talking with a career coach to fill in those little gaps so that you can get to make that career that switch. Because I just actually had a client. She went from sales manager to went into the nonprofit event planning. Now that is a total shift, but I took all her skill sets because she had to do people relations. She had to do all of that kind of stuff. She organized different little trainings and stuff at the as a sales manager, and we brought out all those skills because she really wanted to get into that space, and she was able to land a job as an event planner at a nonprofit organization. So
Okay.
it can be done, but you take stock of what you do have before you start feeling down that you don't have to get all this other stuff.
All right. So, well, that part is about, my next question was about how does coaching help with that transition? But you said you can cover that in your services. So, as far as leadership is concerned, how do you position yourself to become a leader in the workforce or your company where you work?
Being able to get along with your peers, because you're not seen as a leader until you can get along with your peers and be seen as a leader amongst your peer group.
Okay.
So you want to make sure that they see you as a leader and that you're always being helpful and that you're taking on some lead projects, giving them information, giving them guidance, so they automatically see you as a leader. So when you're seen as a leader amongst your peers, then that means you can lead other people. A lot of times people wanted just the leadership role just for the title, and then they become more of a boss. People, and especially nowadays,
Yeah.
bosses, no.
Right.
You want leaders, and leaders also have to be able to manage the work, manage the people as well. But being a leader, it takes on a different connotation. So if you are able to do that amongst your peer group, no matter what level you are, entry level, professional, technical, first line leader, first line management, second line management, if you're a second line management and you can lead your peers, then that means you're ready for the director's role.
Okay.
And then if you lead your peers in the director's role, then it's time for you to go to the next role. So you always have to make sure you're able to lead within your peer group and then make that transition as you go along in your career.
Jewels.
Yeah.
More jewels. So leaders, you just like, it's great because you touch on things and it's already in the next question. Leaders often have challenges in developing their employees, developing managerial skills, managing the job, the budget, and more. And you already said what makes a leader a good leader in the workforce as far as being a leader amongst your peers. But this is kind of questions geared towards the leaders who, when you're having problems with the employees, kind of like a self-reflection thing. How would you coach someone who says, listen, none of my employees are doing what I asked them to do. There's high turnover in my department. And sometimes, I think self-reflection is hard when it comes from that. So how do you kind of bring somebody back around?
Yeah, because we've all heard the saying that people lead bosses, not companies.
Yeah.
Because it's usually the boss that runs someone out. And it goes back to they have to take ownership and be self-aware. And a lot of times people don't want to face reality of that. It may be something that they're doing, but those who have courage, and I'm going to say courage, to really reflect and see that, maybe it's something that's happening with me. And even if it's maybe their boss and that there's something going on, taking the time to figure out what is it that they're doing to drive away people.
Right.
Because companies invest in training for the employee and getting the employee on board. So there's a lot of money that goes on bringing a new employee in, and even having an employee go to a different department. It's still a lot of money that's in tow with that or in play with that. So you want to make sure that you're doing whatever you can to keep the human resources, the assets, make sure that they're able to do the job. I'm not saying that you have to baby them or what have you, because you set the expectations, but how do you do it? How's your delivery? Are you cold? Are you always angry? Do you bring your whole life problems to the job? What are you doing? Are you not a good manager? Do you stay in your office behind a computer all day and don't even talk to your employees? Do you even know their name and their birthday? Do you know anything about them? Just merely talking to your employees and talking to your direct reports and just seeing about them as people, because I treat my direct reports as people first. Then we get the job done. Because if you treat them as people, they will, as long as you serve them, they will serve you.
That's right. And they're going to work harder too.
Yes, exactly.
It's like I just read a book the report, it was the Gallup, I believe, American People in the Workplace. And it was just talking about employment engagement, you guys, and about the relationship with the leaders, and just basically making the employees feel special, selling the benefits of the job. Basically, you should want to work for this company because Right. So it was really interesting to see, and I was like, you know what, that does happen. When I kind of look back on my work history, I could, I look back and say, well, you know what, I see that the places where I had the best experiences was when the manager was a good manager.
Yeah, that makes a difference.
It's just, and you don't even think that, and when it's time to do something a little bit extra, it's like, you know what? I'm going to do it.
Yes.
Instead of like getting mad about it or, frustrated about it, because, you're working for a good person and you actually develop respect for that person. You care about that person.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So, yeah, that definitely works.
Yes.
So on a down note, let's talk about job loss.
Okay.
So, according to an article on helpguide.org, job loss is one of life's most stressful experiences. And beyond the loss of income, people often face challenges with professional identity, self-esteem, and confidence, a daily routine, a sense of security, and other things that can trigger depression. What advice can you give someone who has suffered a job loss, and how can they overcome such grief?
Oh gosh, that's tough. And like I talked about earlier, being a career counselor, because that's when I get the people who have lost their jobs or about to lose their jobs. It's a very high stress, emotional time. One of the things I tell them is that you have value. You're not that company. You're not that title, and you're not that job. You still own your skills, you still own your abilities, and you still own your talents. You become the CEO of your own career. So therefore, when you have that mind shift to become the CEO of your career, then you can take your company anywhere you want to. And then you package it up and say, okay, go to company A, company B, and company C. So you're not tied to that company at all. So therefore, you're still you. You just don't work for that organization anymore, or surely you won't be working for that organization, or you're not going to have that title. But it's not taking away your skill set. It's not taking away the fact that you can make money and that you can bring an income in. So therefore, just boosting their spirits and boosting their knowledge of saying you are really good at what you do. Let's just make sure that the next employer knows that, and let's package it up so that they can see that. So I kind of motivate and encourage them.
Yeah, I think that's a very big part of it. You know, I mean, people are very broken about that.
Yes.
So on a job interview, how does someone come in and, they've lost their job, whether, it could be due to a layoff, company restructuring, or just flat out terminated. How do you get in front of a panel and say, listen, y'all, this is what happened?
Yeah.
So how do you kind of coach someone to do that?
Well, if it's a job loss through a downsizing something, that's everybody understands that. So you can say that. Now, the touchy situation is because you may have done something. And so therefore, I would coach my employees. First of all, I want them to tell me the truth, the whole story. And then I will work with them to say it in a way that they don't necessarily have to tell their business about something that happened that will be negative. And you never, ever want to go in bashing the company, bashing the manager that you left, the boss, or what have you, or bashing even your peers, because it could have been a peer or something that you've gotten into that you say, forget, then you get fired. So you don't want to talk about that issue. We just have to work through your personal story. So I can't give a general answer. I would have to hear your personal story and reframe it. Then we practice that reframing on how to tell their story so it would not put a damper on your ability to do that job, or them seeing you and being able to do that job. So yeah, we have to reframe it and not go in there down and out. Again, I just told you that you all that in a bag of chips because you still own your skills. So therefore you go in there, it is what it is. And life happens to all of us, and there's nothing to preclude you from having an opportunity and being great at another company. So just about how do you reframe your story so that you can go in and feel confident that I got this.
Makes sense. So now let's talk about Black women and our hair in the workspaces.
And I didn't have my curly hair today.
So there was an article on Essence.com in 2018, and it was titled "Black Women Speak Up About Their Struggles Wearing Natural Hair in the Workspace." The article noted that items like Black women were not comfortable wearing their hair naturally in the workspace, and why it was important for them to see women of color look like them in leadership positions. And I can attest to that. I remember when I did start doing interviews, I've had natural hair now probably for a little bit over 10 years, but when I was interviewing, I was like, you know what, I gotta straighten my hair. I don't want anything to mess this up.
Yeah.
Let me straighten it.
And
I didn't really even like the thought of that, but it's just kind of seemed like that's what it is. And I see now that it's changing. I wear my hair natural sometimes I might have an accessory hairpiece, but anyways, on here
she's had an accessory, y'all.
right
I love it.
So how does it, I'm not sure if that was like really a coaching question, but where do you how do you being as a Black woman, how do I think that's something that we just kind of have to overcome internally first. That's what I think. But what are your thoughts on that?
I think we do have to overcome it internally, because I think what we're doing is making a lot of assumptions. Not to say that there has not been bias in the workplace for that. I do believe there are, but I think that's probably more the smaller. In corporate America, they are changing. They're more business casual. They're more laid back environments. And that's another piece of trying to engage the employees, because they have to be more accepting and diverse minded, and knowing that it doesn't matter how I look. If I can do the job and get the job done, it doesn't matter how I look. So therefore, when it comes down to appearance, I'm not saying that you got to go in there bummy. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying, be authentically you.
Right.
And so therefore, they're changing. Now, if you talk about me back in my day when I first started, oh no, honey. We had to wear stockings. We had to wear suits. We had perms or relaxers.
Right.
We had all of that kind of stuff because we wanted to fit in to get the corporate job. So that was just how it was.
Right.
But I have seen over the years it has evolved. Now today I have my hair straight, but if you look on my video just 2 days ago, my latest Facebook Live, you'll see my hair in the natural state. So they'll question and they'll say, oh, your hair is curly.
Yeah.
I like it. Can I touch it? And I was like, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
So if they haven't seen you like that before, they're going to ask questions. And I think we have to be strong enough not to get offended. Just answer the question.
Yeah.
They're curious. Let them ask the question.
Yeah.
And I don't find it in the corporate setting that I'm in, that is a negative thing. Honey, you should see what we have going on.
Right.
And it's so diverse, which I'm really happy about that.
Yeah.
So the natural hairstyles, the comfort. I just want some of them to stop wearing pajamas to work. But that's another.
We don't do pajamas, you guys.
Don't please. I don't care how cute the bottoms. No, please.
Right.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
So but anyway, we do have business casual, so those things happening, but it's so much better. But we have to take onus for ourselves, and if that's what you want to do it and rock it. It's about having confidence in who you are.
Yeah. So and going into appearance and things of that sort, I find when I, wear blazers and some heels, not those neutralizers, even though they were comfortable. Shouts out to neutralizers.
Right.
I gotta go to happy hour after that, so I need, and I feel more confident and more productive at work versus those days where I'm trying to rush to hurry up, get ready. It's like, I don't really like this outfit, but so. As far as appearance goes and polished, like what would be some feedback or some tips on that?
For me, if you are serious about your career, you will want to dress for the next role. So if they say you can wear jeans, if you're going to wear jeans, wear a blazer. You can wear some nice heel sandals, nice heels or what have you, a nice blouse to dress it up. Wear bold pieces of jewelry. And now I'm talking about our females. And for our men, you want to make sure that you're wearing sometimes, nice polos. If you're going to wear a white polo or white shirt, please make sure you have on a t-shirt underneath because I don't want to see through it and see your skin showing through. So you want to make sure that you're always very professional because you are taking more serious with appearance. And that's no matter where you are. You can go into a restaurant, you can go into a store. No matter where you go, you will be perceived a certain way. So it's not just a corporate rap, it's everywhere. So you have to take pride in who you are and what you want to present all the time. And every once in a while you may want to dress down. That's fine, but that should be the abnorm, but not the norm. Because like just on yesterday, I wore my Chucks, but they were sparkly Chucks, and so they were sequins. And I'm very big into Chucks. So I said, what, I'm dressing for my day. I know I had a lot of computer work, and I wasn't going to really be out of my office, so I had my little jeans on, my little Chucks on, and my boss came down. He said, "Oh, those are cool shoes." thanks, boss.
Yeah.
And so, so I did what I had to do. But when I was at my meeting, I had a big leadership meeting. I had on a dress, had on bold jewelry, and I had on my heels,
Right.
and my blazer. So I did what I had to do. So make sure that you're always dressing for the next role, and also how you want to be seen. And although it's business casual, I always tell my clients, lean to the business more so than the casual.
That's true. That's true.
Yep.
How did you? So now we talked about the. Oh well, let me. How much time do we have? I just kind of wanted to check.
6 minutes.
Okay.
Wow, we did. That
Yeah,
went fast.
I got my Hey DFW's top 5 coming up, but
Okay.
I did want to talk about in summary about the personal branding. So we talked about LinkedIn. So the LinkedIn, the resume, even the appearance, all that goes into personal branding, right?
Yeah.
Is it? Can you give us like a synopsis of about personal branding, why it's important in the workforce, and just you as like a person, how do you want to be perceived by the general public?
Just like any major corporation has a brand, like you have Burger King, you have McDonald's, they have some kind of branding. You want to be able to have your own brand, so people, when they see you, they know that's who you are. Are you a person of integrity? Are you a person who's very good at organizing things? Are you very good with time management? Are you very good with making sure that you do the best project? You're a project manager. So that's part of your brand. And when you're known for something like that, I call it a subject matter expert, that becomes who you are. And it goes along with your appearance. It goes along with how you present yourself, how you communicate, how
Right.
you engage. All of those things become a part of your brand. And I call it you're being a company of you. That's why I always talking about becoming a CEO of your career. Because when you have that mindset, then you're always checking every aspect of who you are so you can present yourself as a package.
Okay. So you offer a service. It's a Webfolio. Can you go into detail about what that is and
Yes.
what can that do for clients?
Oh, wow. The Webfolio is kind of new right now. It's like your own professional website, but it's career related. Graphic artists can really benefit that because they can showcase all of their graphic art. An actual professor who has written books or written, papers, articles, physicians, managers who've done projects, because sometimes managers have too much to put in a resume, but
Right.
then you can take some of that and put it in an actual website. Say, click here for more information, and I can make a live link on your resume so they can do that. And so therefore, and executives and marketing, people who are into marketing, they can really master that, because you do so many projects as a marketing major or marketing employee that you want to showcase some of those projects that you can do out there. So it can really elevate it beyond an actual resume, because we can't fit everything in there.
Right.
We put the best of the best, but sometimes we have a lot of best. And so therefore
Yeah.
a Webfolio will help with that.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
So you guys, this is part of the show. I've just started this new segment. I thought it'd be fun because we want to have fun, right? We want to get knowledge, have some information, but we also want to have fun. So this part of the show, I'm going to call it Hey DFW's Top 5. So I'm just going to ask Nickquolette some cute, quick questions. Well, I don't know one of them, but and she's going to give us some answers for them. And here we go. So the first one, number 1 is, if you're a stay-at-home parent and would like to get back into the workforce, can you give us 3 things you must do before proceeding?
And take a stock of all the things that you have been doing as a stay-at-home mom, because trust me, you have a lot of skills. Write them all down and then put together, I'll contact a resume writer to help you pull it together.
IRock resumes.
Yeah.
That's where you
IRockresumes.com.
contact. She works with people all over.
Yeah.
So you just don't have to be in the DFW area.
Virtual.
Anywhere.
Yes.
Potlucks or lunch with coworkers? Which one would you prefer?
I will do lunch with coworkers.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm
It's more
that.
personable.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Why are professional headshots important, and why do people need to get them?
Yeah, because I don't like the ones at the selfies with the arms up here and y'all looking up here.
Yeah.
It goes back to your professional brand. Invest in the headshot and go to, get a headshot done by a professional photographer, and you can use those for so many things and for several years as well.
Okay. All right. 3 tips for personal branding that we haven't talked about.
Know yourself. Be self-aware and know yourself. So I would say know yourself, write down all of your strengths. What are your subject matter expert in? Know that and know that well, and know what you can bring to the table. Develop a 90-second or 60-second, like an elevator speech. Develop that for yourself. So when I ask you a question, you'll be able to tell me who you are in that during the elevator ride.
All right. And what is your favorite part about working with clients?
I love engaging with my clients. I almost feel like with my clients, we become friends because I really am able to bring out the best of them because I just care.
Yeah.
I'm more than being a pastor's wife.
Yeah.
It's natural for me to be a counselor, to be able to have that listening ear and give that encouragement.
Does it? I don't know what happened.
Yes, okay. Give that encouragement.
Okay, we back.
Yeah.
All right. That was an anointing, you guys. I was like, hey.
Thank you,
Get an anointed resume, y'all.
Yes.
Get favor.
Yes.
It has favor.
Yes.
All right. So, you guys, I just wanted to make sure we can put up her graphic for the end. If you guys want any more information about Nickquolette, you can find her on IRockResumes.com. And can you tell us your social media handles is at IRockResumes. She's on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and she's also on LinkedIn, you guys. So, today she celebrated 5 years being in business.
Yes.
5 whole years. So, can you tell us what does that feel like?
It feels wonderful.
Yeah.
Because usually it's hard developing actual business, especially when you're in a demanding job like I have as a corporate leader. So, and being in a corporate, working a full-time job, being a pastor's wife and a mother to a college-aged daughter, I knew this is something that I wanted to do. And especially when my employees said that I will be good at this, I just tried it and I fell in love with it because I get that instant gratification when working with my clients. So it's been a hard road. It's not easy developing a business, but to get to the 5-year mark, that means that you have established something. It's all about being able to develop systems, being organized, and being able to know what you can do and the successes of your clients to keep you going. So that's what I'm just very excited to make it to this mile marker.
Yes. So I bought some flowers for her, you guys.
Oh.
Celebrating 5 years in business, so you can sit this on your desk. She has
thank you.
So
hey, look at this.
That is her gift for 5 years old.
Thank
5
you.
years old.
Yes, thank you.
So I'm so if you guys want to tune in to my next show, you guys can just go to my website, heydfw.com. You can follow me on Instagram at heydfw or on my Facebook page, heydfw. And I'm also on Twitter at heydfw. It's all heydfw. So pretty easy. I just probably should have left it at that. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you so much for coming into my show.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you guys. Y'all have a good one.
Bye.